Yo, 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 what up? It's a boy, I Sleep Too Late, and today we are going to be playing some vintage on MTGO. But first, before I reveal Luris, I want to just do one quick thing and say it's over 9,000! We just reached over 9,000 subscribers on I Sleep Too Late. I want to just say thank you to all my subscribers, my supporters, for this momentous occasion. Hopefully, one day we'll get to 10,000. Who knows? That would be huge. That would be a five-digit number, right? But we're starting here today with Luris. We're gonna be probably keep. Oh, do we want to keep this hand? Let's see. We don't have anything here, do we? All we have is like Force of Will and stuff. I actually don't think we keep this hand because we don't have an island for days. We don't have the island for like Psychic Frog. We don't have the island for Stock Up. So let's mulligan that hand. And this is honestly, this is not much of a better hand, but at least we have a land. Uh I mean, we can't cast any of our spells, right? I think I have to mulligan this too. Okay, this is better. I guess we'll have to keep this and let's ditch, like, let's see here. Um we have to get rid of two things. I think we just get rid of like the Mox cuz we don't really need a Mox right now. And probably just get rid of Stock Up, right? Because I mean, we need Psychic Frog, and we need to keep the Spell Pierce mana up. And if we can't Spell Pierce anything, well, we Spell Pierce, right, and then we force a negation afterwards. So let's keep that hand. Our opponent also mulligan to 5, so we're even Steven here. But yeah, it's gonna be really exciting. I'm really glad people are enjoying the vintage content. I was, for like the last several months, I was trying to figure out, like, what should I be doing on this channel. I haven't streamed in a long time. I hadn't made content in like 5 years, right? And then all of a sudden I did, and it was like, well, what do I do now? So it's nice that people are watching vintage, and I love vintage. I think it's like one of those formats where you don't have to worry about Ragavan getting banned. You don't have to worry about like Reanimate getting banned, right? So that's why I think it's really cool. They're tapped out. Let's go ahead and cast this Psychic Frog. We've got Force backup in case we need it, so we can force fatal pushes and stuff. They are on the Luris train as well. So we're going to keep an eye on all of this. I don't really care about Time Walk right now. I mean, it's just an Explore. Yeah, I mean, you don't always have to counter Power 9s all the time, especially when it's not worth it. Like, for example, I don't counter all Moxen, right, when they come in the field. Sometimes it's right to do that, but Brainstorm, yeah, sure, whatever. I mean, it's just card parity, right? Time Walk is also card parity, technically. But yeah, I will say I've been having a lot of fun playing vintage, and hopefully I'll be able to keep making videos. I don't know if I told y'all this. I know I told people on the other YouTube channel that I maintain, but my wife is pregnant and we are expecting a baby sometime by next month, hopefully. So it's been really stressful. I've been really busy with my other stuff that's going on in my life, but the fact that I'm able to make videos has been really special, and I just want to say thank you if you've been watching my videos. Really, like, this channel's been was basically very inactive for a very long time, and it took me a long time to get back into things. And I've had a lot of emotions about this channel, and the fact that it was doing so well like 10 years ago, and then all of a sudden, like, things like there was some drama for sure that happened, that anyone who probably knows me in the in particular communities knows what happened. But basically, I didn't want to be part of the social media platform just because of some cyberbullying. But all of that stuff is kind of in the past now, and it's really nice to just have a space to play Magic again, and to kind of, like, show some of the things that I enjoy doing. So anyway, with that said, we're gonna keep playing Vintage here, and I can probably, if there's time, I'll talk more about like my life and my personal stuff and all that. But probably when we get to like 10,000, I'll start doing some more special stuff. Like maybe we'll do giveaways and stuff like that. I have to make like a Patreon and like all this other stuff that people do when they have a big YouTube channel. Probably once I get to 5 digits, I'll start worrying about all that stuff. Because I'm also thinking about doing like a storefront or somewhere, like all this other stuff that I want to do, all these other projects. Plus, to add to that, the Pokemon stuff is also like a double duty, right? Like this is kind of a variety channel in the sense that I'm doing a lot of YouTube shorts that are Pokemon related. So it does get a little bit tricky as far as what to invest my resources in. Let's I'm just gonna counter this, right? Just gonna counter this. I didn't cast anything last turn, but I think it'll be fine. Mana Drain. Yeah, let's just go ahead and counter this to counter the Mana Drain for sure, so that they don't have stuff. And then I think we just probably get rid of Stock Up here. I still like my counter magic, and the fact that I can Psychic Frog and Spell Pierce at the same time is pretty huge. Oh, they're gonna force my force. Oof. All right. Well, I mean, they've used up a lot of their resources already, so I'm fine with them getting 3 cards. They fought for it. All right, there's a Black Lotus. That was pretty big. Let's go ahead and cast this. I don't know if they're going to want to counter this. They might. Okay, that's cool. And then let's just attack. We're probably going to use the Black Lotus for like Force Negation mana. Ooh, Fatal Push is good too. This is actually getting really sick. We actually have a pretty good situation here. Alright, well, I'm down to fight whatever I need to fight here. I imagine they're going to put Lurrus in their hand, if they haven't already. Gifts Ungiven. Okay. So I actually think I should probably... Yeah, I probably should counter this, right? I probably should counter this. And then maybe leave up like Force Negation back up. It's just... If I let this resolve, it'll be too much. And they could tap out. Okay, they're gonna let that resolve. That tells me that I probably won the counter war. Manifold Key. Okay, let's see what else they got. Do they have the time vault? Because if they do, oh, that's scary. Yeah, sure. Do they just have it? Wow, they have it. Oh, that's crazy. I can't believe they just had it. Well, there's nothing I can do about that. Okay. Oh, that was a rough one. I can't tell you, like that game. I really fought tooth and nail, and I just didn't have enough counter magic. And this is the problem with Lurrus decks, is like you try to fight people on the same axis, right? You fight them on the counter war axis, whereas in other decks like in Dredge, right? Like you don't care if like a random trigger gets countered. Like somebody commented on one of my videos about bringing in things like Consigned to Memory against Dredge. And I think that might not be a bad idea. But the problem with Dredge is that, like, you're fighting them on a completely different axis, right? There's fair decks, there's Lurrus decks that care about trading 1-for-1 and then getting incremental advantage. Kind of like very similar to Jund, right? The Jund strategy is play cards that are 2-for-1s and outvalue your opponent, and then eventually you'll just win the game. I think that some Lurrus decks do that. I think that the Lurrus deck I'm facing is a Paradoxical Outcome deck that runs Tinker or Time Vault. This is a strictly unfair deck that uses Lurrus resources, blue resources, to win the game, which is also in a way unfair. So I think that we're probably gonna bring in like, oof, I don't know, because I don't even know if graphics. I don't really know, like none of these cards do much. Like even Null Rod isn't really that impressive. Is Yixel good? Like I don't know. I think I want to bring more counter magic, and maybe like a consigned to memory would be actually good in this matchup. And then what do I cut? Like what's bad in this deck? I mean, I barely use the stock ups. I can probably cut like go down to two stock ups, and then like everything else here I really like. I mean, do I care about the bombs like Nile Spell Bomb, Soul Guide Lantern? I definitely don't think I care about Misha's Bauble as much. And then I think like Fatal Push is probably something that we can cut go down to one copy. Maybe like I don't think Fatal Push does really a whole lot. I think we can go down to zero Fatal Pushes and just try to win the counter wars. And then have like three stock ups. Yeah, that's fine. I do very poorly against Lurrus matchups. Like one for one, I think Dimir Lurrus is very good, but I think that there's like a bunch of Lurrus decks that just beat Dimir Lurrus. And it's like, well, I feel like it's one of those things where I'm damned if I do and I'm damned if I don't, right? Because if I should play, I feel like I should play Lurrus if I want to maximize my chances of winning, because everyone's on Lurrus, but at the same time, everybody has a counter to Lurrus, everybody has an answer to Lurrus. So it's also like it's like a good deck and it's also a bad deck in the context of like a metagame, because everyone's playing a Lurrus deck and everyone's playing like their own flavors, and you're just bound to face someone that beats your Lurrus deck. That's why I think that like playing Dredge is a really good idea right now, and I think that I'm gonna probably people were asking if I could play Dredge. I'm definitely gonna play Dredge in the next one after this league season. I'm definitely gonna play some Dredge, and just so you know, my my videos are out of order, so I might by the time you watch some of my other videos, I might have already started playing Dredge. These videos kind of get out of order. I try to be like within like some sort of order, but lately there was a screw up with like the I don't know, there was something with when I was organizing the videos into a folder. They just got really like out of sync. But everything that you're watching from here on out is after Avatar: The Last Airbender. And once the next set comes out, I'll try to focus on doing something like playing with the new sets and stuff. All right, well, I think that not countering the Mox Sapphire was the right thing to do, because I think we have a I think we have a lot of good resources here that we can use. Everything we can do at instant speed, so we're probably in a good spot here, I think. Let's see what our opponent's up to. They've got Scalding Tarn, they've got Mox Sapphire. Yeah, I mean, you could make a case to counter this Mox Sapphire, but I just didn't feel like I needed to stop that from happening. But my opponent's probably thinking about doing something. I don't know what they're thinking about doing. The other thing I could do, right? People like there's consideration for a Demonic Tutor into like Black Lotus. But, obviously I don't want to use my sorcery speed stuff just yet. I think I will flash in this Orcish Bowmasters, though. I don't think it's wrong to do that. Just to get some value here. And then we could Time Twister. Let's see here. Mox Ruby's good. Well, let's see here. We can go Wasteland, and then we could go Demonic Tutor. We could grab Mox Sapphire and then Time Twister. I don't know. Oh, actually, it's right to get Black Lotus here, right? It's right to get Black Lotus so that we can go Black Lotus, Time Twister, like get 3 blue mana, Time Twister, have mana for like Spell Pierce and stuff. Yeah, that seems pretty good. They gotta figure out, they gotta counter this, or they gotta counter the Black Lotus. But I think if they counter the Black Lotus, it's probably too late because I already have the Time Twister. So this is the, if there's an opportunity to counter, it would be right now because I don't have any blue mana and I don't have any counter spells. I don't have anything to save this Demonic Tutor. But they're probably thinking like, do I care about this? I think they do care about it. I'm wondering if maybe I did this a turn too soon. The problem is if I wait a turn, like they're probably gonna go off, right? Because they'll have access to like 4 mana, potentially, maybe even more, and they'll just like do whatever they need to do to get like Gifts Ungiven and Paradoxical Outcome. So we have to like what we're doing is time sensitive, and if we don't act fast, then we lose opportunity. So that's why I'm doing this now. And the fact that we have a Spell Pierce is nice. We can like kind of save that. But I don't. Unfortunately, Consign doesn't counter, like, it's not like a Nyx. It doesn't counter stuff. Oh, they're gonna drain that. Sure. Yeah, that's fine. I'd rather them drain a 2 mana spell than a 3 mana spell anyway. And we have the Wasteland, so let's see what they do here. They have all this mana now, like they did last game. I'm curious what's going to happen here. All right, well, we got our Wasteland target. Gifts Ungiven. Yeah, I can't do anything about this. Excuse me. I feel like I could have played this a little bit better, but honestly, I just don't know. Maybe I should have countered the Mox Sapphire. I just didn't think it would be relevant to counter the Mox. But it would have taken them down a turn, and I would have been able to make use of my resources. I was hoping I'd be able to, like, if they let the Demonic Tutor resolve, which, you know, I feel like 40% of the time you probably let something like that resolve. You can safely play a black. I mean, what are the chances that people are going to counter Black Lotus? They probably would, or they would wait to counter your follow up to the Black Lotus, and then, I mean, they had all the mana in the world to pay for the Spell Pierce, so it's not like it would have been a big deal. I don't even know what Consigned to Memory would potentially counter. I mean, because it doesn't counter activated abilities, right? So I wouldn't be able to counter the fetch land activation. I don't really know what my opponent gets with this Gifts Ungiven. Maybe something Time Vaulty. But I would say, yeah, like, 2 of the hardest cards to play, in my opinion, are Gifts Ungiven and, like, Doomsday. I think those 2 cards are very complicated. Intuition is also on top there, but, like, Gifts Ungiven, very complicated because you have to pick 2 things, and then, or, like, you have to figure out what to give your opponent. And then Doomsday is also very hard because of the layers and the amount of math you have to do, and, like, the figuring out the order of like how what you're going to draw in your deck. It's very easy to mess that up. And I think people who don't play Vintage don't. I mean, I think if you play CDH, you might get a little bit of a feeling of what I'm talking about. Let's see. So these are 2 cards that go into their graveyard. I would say I give them. I would say I put the Time Walk and the Black Lotus in the graveyard, because Demonic Tutor is Demonic Tutor. They already had basically a tutor, And not giving them another blue card is good, so probably just get rid of their 2 best cards. It's probably the way to go. Excuse me, I'm gonna blow my nose. Alright. So, my opponent decides not to cast the Demonic Tutor, which means I get to destroy their Underground Sea, I guess. Let's see what you got here. Alright, nothing. Alright, cool. So we got a Mox, which is nice. Unfortunately, we don't have the blue mana to cast what we want. But we can play a land drop after the Time Twister. And we can save the Wasteland for, you know, when we crack it. I'd be very surprised if they didn't counter this. Alright, so we're just gonna try to gain some advantage here. I'm wondering, did I just survive a Gifts Ungiven? I'd be very surprised if I actually survived that Gifts Ungiven, but it sounds like I did. Unless they know exactly what they're doing this turn. If I survive another turn, then I'll know that I survived a Gifts Ungiven. But I mean, because what do they have here? Demonic Tutor. Okay, there's a Demonic Tutor. So we only have one. We have 2 unknowns, about to be 3. I'm wondering if I should just Wasteland their Underground Sea right now. Probably not a bad idea. Maybe I can do that after, in response to whatever they're going to do next. Yeah, sorry. I got sick, I want to say, like a couple weeks ago. So I haven't been uploading as many videos. And then I stopped getting, and then I got a lot better. But I'm still having this, like, cough when I talk for, like, a long time. So I've been taking a break from, like, making content for a while. Alright. Wow, I survived another turn. Interesting. Alright, well, they're just going to Wasteland that Underground Sea and then see what... You know, they've been functioning off of, like, two blue mana this entire time. Let's attack. Getting there slowly. I don't want to put Lurrus in my hand just yet. I want to save mana for, like, Spell Pierce and Daze. Alright, let's see. So yeah, I can't counter that, unfortunately, but... Should I counter that? Probably not. It's probably not worth it. They put the card on top of their library, so they know what it is. Oh, probably a land, right? We know they have Force of Will, so they're just like 1 away from hard casting Force of Will. LED. Okay, I'm going to counter this. And then let's just replicate it. Oh, I guess I wait, can I replicate it? I don't know how replicate works. I think I could have technically replicated that, but I just didn't. I thought I was able to just replicate it after I cast it, but whatever. Yeah, I'm gonna have to daze this, I guess. It's not the best, but it's like what can you do here, right? I mean, I think they still have me, right? Because they just get the Black Lotus, the LED. I'm just, like, denying them 1 mana. I was, like, if I had the, you know, if I had, like, extra mana, I would have been able to do some cool stuff. But like I would have been able to just cast the Spell Pierce too. Ugh, it would have been so good. What are they getting here though? I guess Demonic Tutor, Force. Because they have Force backup now, right? And Time Walk. So I mean, I definitely agree they win here, but like I just want to see what their line is. Oh, gosh, I don't know how I could have done better. I guess was this the game where I could have spell pierced the Mox? I don't think that would have made too much of a difference, but at the same time, if you think about it, like this Mox has just been sitting in my this spell pierce has been sitting in my hand this entire time, and I didn't cast it, and I definitely should have used it for something. So maybe the game would have been a lot different if I had thought about countering the Mount Mock Sapphire with the Spell Pierce on turn one. It just wasn't something that was on my radar to do. Like I usually think that maybe it's right to counter the next follow up thing, but when you have a counterspell as like situational as Spell Pierce, and to be fair, like it's not a very situational counterspell, right? This like Spell Pierce is for all intents and purposes a 1 mana card that does things. So that just counters everything that you need. All right, what is taking my opponent so long? This is a. I would agree. This is a long game, but I'm honestly down to concede. I just want to see what their line is. Like, they're idle for. I mean, they have 10 minutes, but let's see. What do they do here? They have Black Lotus LED, so they have 6 mana. They probably go 3 blue, 3 black. Yeah, that's fine. I'm F6, so that's fine. You know what's also kind of complicated is that I have an Orcish Bowmasters in play, which makes it... I think that they're thinking, like, they have to try to not die to Orcish Bowmasters, because probably what they're thinking about doing is drawing a bunch of cards, but they can't just easily do that, right? They have to think about... I mean, let's see here. All they have to do is Gifts Ungiven. Oh, Gifts Ungiven is kind of complicated too, right? Because if they Gifts Ungiven, I can just... Whatever I put in their yard gets exiled, so they can't just, like, use it later on. So I can understand why this could be a tough line. But I don't see how they don't win with a Yawgmoth's Will. I don't see how they don't win here. They'll think of something, right? It's not hard to win. It's not hard to not win the game. Excuse me. It's not hard to win the game when you have 6 mana and like a million cards and like 2 tutors. It is a little tricky though. It might be possible that they don't have a win here, but it's just a little bit complicated. I think that maybe me dazing them kind of messed them up a little bit. If that's the case, I'd be really happy, but I mean, like, they can't... Oh, you know what they should have done? Oh, they can't crack the LED, right? Because, yeah, actually, that's tricky. What do they do with the LED here? Because they're tutoring, right? It goes to their hand, but now, like, what can they do with that card? They crack the LED. They should probably... Would it be right to crack the LED first? I think maybe you should crack the LED first, right? And then Demonic Tutor. And then do all that other stuff. Mana Drain. Okay. Okay, so we see what their cards are. They have a Saga, a Flusterstorm, and a Mana Drain in their hand. They were going to discard all of that to LED. Oh, they're just gonna. Oh, okay. So we know they have Saga, Flusterstorm, and Mana Drain. Um, I want to save the Wasteland for the Saga, and I'm gonna play Underground Sea and just attack for 2 here. Wait, I'm guessing they don't have the Force of Will anymore? They must have used it. I must have not been paying attention when they used it. Yeah, I guess that's fine. Um, just save my Wasteland for their Saga. And then, I mean, yeah, they've got Mana Drain and all that other stuff. Okay, Consign is good. I gotta remember how to use Consign next time to play with it. But I'm kind of limited by how many lands I have and mana I have. Because otherwise I'd be like putting Lurrus in my hand, right? But even putting Lurrus in my hand isn't going to be a big deal because I don't have the mana to cast it. Let's see. They've got... We know they have 2 counter spells just because they revealed it accidentally. It's not going to show up under revealed because I'm not supposed to know I have it. I'm not supposed to know they have it, but they accidentally used LED, which is kind of a cool thing that I can see now, you know? All right, well, this is pretty good. We have double mana, double counter spell stuff. Let's just attack here. Am I good to put Lurrus in my hand? Probably not. I think that would be a mistake. What do they have in there? Let's see. If I put Lurrus in my hand, what would be the reason to put Lurrus in my hand? Is so I can cast it next turn, right? And they have... I know they have 2 counter spells. We know they have the Mana Drain, the Flusterstorm. So do I really want to put Lurrus in my hand? It would just be wasting resources because right now they could put Lurrus in their hand and then they could cast 2 counter spells if they really wanted to. So I'd rather just not worry about it and just kind of hold off and save my mana for counter magic wars. Not that I have like a whole lot going for me for as far as counter magic wars, but having 2 counter spells is better than having like, you know. All right, well, I am going to let that resolve, unfortunately. There's nothing I can do. They also don't have a permanent for Lurrus, which is kind of cool. It's Undercity Sewers here. Mental Misstep, that's a good one. Let's see, what does that do for me, though? It's good against Flusterstorm, Probably better than nothing, honestly. So now I have like the mana to support 2 things if I wanted to. I could definitely counter war them, right? But I definitely want to hold off and just kind of see what's going on here. I kept Mental Misstep for a reason. I wanna save my resources so that I can fight. And all it takes is like 1 wheel. So I don't know if it's right for them to attack me. If they attack me, I just double block or or something, you know? That's not a problem. The problem is fighting whatever they're going to do that's going to win them the game. They got 3 life here. This just got so complicated. I thought I just was going to lose this game. But no, it's this ended up being a much more challenging game than just me losing, I guess. All right. Let's see one more card. That's a good card to see. We can finally put Lurrus in our hands safely, and safely is a very strong word. Do we have anything in the graveyard? No, we don't have anything in the graveyard. But once we get Lurrus on the field, it should be a little bit more smooth sailing. I almost want to like crack the Misty Rainforest in a turn. Chain of Vapor. I'm gonna just gonna counter this. See what they got here. They're gonna fight. All right. They're gonna fight this. So we know, what was the other card they had? They had a Mana Drain too, right? No, so I'm not gonna pay. What else do they have in their hands? I'm trying to think. They have a Mana Drain, right? Is that it? Should I just Spell Pierce this? I feel like I have to do this at some point, right? But just denying them mana would be very useful here. Like, I could just recast the Orcish Bowmasters, but why do that when I can just do this? And then I can bounce their Lurrus by sacrificing a land. If I can sacrifice a land, bounce their Lurrus, then they have to cast the Lurrus. So I actually like the way that this turned out. Because they know they need the mana, right? We know they have Mana Drain. This is kind of the best of both worlds, because they can't just, like, they can Mana Drain the Spell Pierce if they want, right? But that's just going to give them 1 mana. And then, like, and then what? Like, they could also just pay for it, too, by paying for the Spell Pierce. So either way, we're denying them mana to do things, and that is what's important here, right? That's the key. This is what I was fighting for this entire time. I held off on the counter wars because I didn't want to get greedy, and keeping the Mental Misstep actually ended up. I don't want to say it saved me yet, because I could still lose, but I will just say I'm in a better position now than I would have been if I had put the Mental Misstep in my graveyard. I definitely would be in a worse position in my opinion, I think. So it might not have, in hindsight, it might have been like, it might look good, but I also think that it was the right decision to keep the Mental Misstep, because there are so many cards like Chain of Vapor, like Ancestral Recall, that you just want to like fight, you know? All right, so they're gonna pay for it. Oh, they're gonna Mana Drain? Really? That's actually better for me, because now they used up their Mana Drain. And then I'm just gonna bounce their Lurrus. They're at 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes. Are they okay? I don't know if they should be good, right? They should be fine. I've lost the people with like 2 minutes left, by the way, like 1 minute left. They speed run the game, and then they beat me. So I don't care about the time. The only time really matters is when you get down to 0. That's the only time actually matters. Okay. No, from experience of playing MTGO, I can say don't rely on people running out of time, because they will steamroll you. In 2 seconds, they will steamroll you. But yeah, I think I can probably safely like sacrifice my Undercity Sewers, and then bounce the Lurrus, I'm thinking. Then what they do is like they have that colorless mana from the Spell Pierce, right? And then they won't be able to cast the Lurrus unless they have like another Moxen or a follow up land or something like that. And then once they get that, like what they what do? They have a Lurrus. They tapped out all of their mana. I have an Orcish Bowmasters that I can just recast. Plus I have the Lurrus. So I can pretty much do anything I want at that point. All right, they're getting awfully close here. 2 minutes left. Like I said, you can do a lot in 2 minutes. I'm wondering what they're thinking. I don't know what their situation is. I do have them muted. I just want to let you know, folks, I have my chats muted. So if you are playing Vintage against me and you talk to me, I don't really want to engage in a conversation with you because I know that that can only end up being a bad thing. Okay? Just from my experience, as I mentioned before, I was bullied. I was cyberbullied. It led to like almost the downfall of my YouTube channel. I am not going to deal with toxicity of any sort. I usually just mute the chat. We can say good games to each other off stream or whatever. Like there's a Vintage Discord that we are all pleasant and nice with. But when it comes to like these type of games, I don't want to hear like I just don't want to hear comments. Even if you're a friendly person, I don't want to hear comments, right? Because I don't think it's going to be fruitful for me to like I think there's more bad than good. Oh, it looks like my opponent lost connection. Oh, I think that they lost connection because I don't think that they oh, that's unfortunate. Well, like I said, I don't want to reveal the chat and see what they said because that's just my policy. That's just my gaming policy. But what I will say is that it looks like I'm 30 seconds from winning the game. And I really think my opponent could have beaten me. They had the resources to beat me. This was only, I think this was game 2. They were already up a game, but yeah, unfortunately I think they had a connectivity issue. So I know that stinks. I'm still gonna upload this video because I did a lot of talking and I did the 9,000 thing, and I wanna I wanna like I don't want to make another video where I say thank you for 9,000 subscribers because I want to do that like once and then be done with it. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'm sorry that my opponent disconnected. I do apologize to my opponent for having connectivity issues, but you know, we did play our best. We try to be a good sport, and that's all you can do, right? So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. I will see you all in the next one. Peace out.